You know what? Don't worry. What we are going to make sure, though, is that we're going to see both of the winner bracket semifinals. Admins, don't worry. That's my message for you. There's so much stuff going on. I can't get my head around it. We'll follow this and possibly into the next round, and then we'll roll through that. Because a Tox versus Sirius quarterfinal, if that happens, because I think that Picava's got a good chance of beating Tox. Tox versus Sirius, though, is a pretty insane prospect, right? No, you cannot change champions during the match. It's going to be Visor versus Visor, and that's what it's gonna stay with. The fact that Tox banned Ranger, I wonder if Ranger was the champion that Picava beat him on in PTS. I don't know how many times they've played together, but I know that Picava's taken at least a map off.
Prepare to fight.
Tox is not on /Louise. Strong comments over there. Alright, guys. Toxic and Picava here. The ZLive Duel Series.
Fight.
I'm going to have to go over to Tox first. I wholeheartedly apologize, Picava, but Tox is so highly regarded by everybody in the Quake scene. Anybody involved in any way, be it players, casters, viewers, even people outside of Quake, this guy is just hailed in such high regard. We'll see what he can bring us in this one, because this shape can vary. That's one thing about Tox at the moment, is that he can be inconsistent, and that's often been seen as down to, like, his confidence. And he's patient with the rail. He does manage to find one. I am expecting a slightly more aggressive game between these two. He's kind of tracking Picava through the floors. He hears him down below. It's going to hit another rail shot. The thing is, Picava's picked up a whole load of resources during this time, and now Tox has got to move back, get himself over to another major item, and reset a little bit. He didn't get the kill. He did put a lot of good pressure, but that was kind of all he achieved, and that's a lovely little rail shot just at the end of the piercing sight. It hits the follow-up, and now Picava feeling like the walls are closing in on him. He's going to find him with the LG in a second. Picava with good defensive rockets. Oh my god. That was actually really sick. Tox makes himself unrailable. But I don't know if Picava actually picked up the rail just yet. And he's just finished using the piercing sight. Gets himself over towards Mega. Minute and a half into the game, Tox now has himself a rocket launcher. That was one shot. He's run out of rails now. And how many times have you seen his ammo click? Going down with the LG. Picava going to have to watch out. There it is. That is going to be the first blood spill. Tox in the lead. He's stripping as hard as he can down here. Tries to make his way over towards the heavy. Both major items are going to be up. Heavy, though, looking the prettier of the options. I was thinking maybe rocket jump up to rockets, but he really needs those rails again, so he makes his way up to there instead. Oh, that's a pretty rough combo. Not overcommitting to these angles. He's respecting the damage output that Picava can have, but he's done so much that he does eventually go in. That little bounce that he had at the bounce pad worked out well for him. But it's about that ammo management as well. Barely any LG, no rockets. He has got a rail though, and he's got plenty of ammunition with that. Just got to hit the shots with it. There's one rail. Sell bike. Thanks very much for that chunky donation. Another 32 bucks going into the prize pot. Securing it's a pretty tidy pot for the ZLive Duel Series 2. I might have to think of a better name though for this Duel Series. Rate the name of the event, guys. ZLive Duel Series out of 10. Feel free to give, you know, 0s, 1s, and 2s. I'm okay with that. Just means I'll have to think of something better. LG doesn't hit the rail at the end, but it's good for mitigating that overstack that is being picked up by Picava. But he's letting him get onto items. It's okay though to let him do that if he's getting the damage out, which he absolutely is. The heavy machine gun combo into rail. That's one more for Tox. Who says this guy needs major items? It is an untruth. Oh, it was not so bad, guys. You guys weren't even trolling that hard. There's some decent numbers over there. Oh, I'm proud. Another click. How many times is he going to click this series? Heavy machine gun damage is just ridiculous. Pikawa's going to rocket jump to the top with not a huge stack, but he's getting himself that upper position and a better chance of gaining control. This could be the opportunity that Pikawa needs to get back into this game. Oh my god, a wild sprawl has also turned up too. I'm now deeply nervous. It's going to be Pikawa dropping down. Oh, he's going for the rail shot. It's just one rail he needs for the kill, and Pikawa gets himself on the board. I knew it was going to happen at some point. He does make it happen. Not bad damage. Hits the rail follow-up. Push in with LG is not a bad idea at all. Tox is keeping him at bay. There's respect, but not too much, as he's low on HP. But look at that. He has resources to work with. 25 health bubble. There's the Mega coming up too. And the Heavy in a good amount of time as well. That means he can push through this teleporter if he watches out for Tox. Oh, the rocket jump up! There was so much noise being made that he didn't expect it. Is he going to push through a choke point? No, he deems it too risky. But Tox with that heavy machine... Well, I think that was... No, it was the heavy machine gun, I'm pretty sure.
5-minute warning.
5 seconds until this spawns. And now he knows that Tox is pulled back. That Mega is secure. And there's a light armor also that he can work with. But again, ammo is definitely something to manage. That's such a good rail from Pikawa, though. He just has to realize that he's run out of ammunition with it. There's a click. Is he going to drop, though? Is he going to drop on Tox LG? Oh, it's not going to be on Tox LG because Tox has faded away from this. Oh, easy. This is good work from Pikawa, though, to sustain control. He's being able to go from Mega to Heavy, back to Mega, keeping that control himself. He's only one frag behind. This is pretty scary for Tox. Nice little piercing sight rail. Again, this is another major item going towards Pikawa, but there's starting to be sort of delays in when they're being picked up, so he needs to make sure that that Mega is sealed as his. And if anything, I would maybe delay it for a couple of seconds. This is a good position to hold. Check where Tox is hanging. It's a little bit of spam, just in case there's some damage coming from below. We're going through the teleporter. He's going to be found in a second. That's going to be damage. That's a really nice angle to hold the heavy machine gun from when you're on the stairs, but Tox is so weak. 3 rails in a row from Pikawa. That's leading to a tied game. And right off the spawn, he finds him again. Tox trying to get out of there. He will make it in the end because Pikawa needs to get that heavy armor so he doesn't lose sight of this rotation of items. And now he knows that Tox is over on bridge. It's like, oh, brilliant. I can get myself onto the Mega Health too. So Tox has actually let go of this item, which could be a really, really dangerous move for him. Tox needs to do what he did before and get that sort of out of position damage. When I say out of position, I mean out of contention for the items. And Pikawa's hitting some super important rails, which is landing him great successes. He's even going over to the banana light armor before he gets the heavy, so that's just few resources left on the map for Tox to take. This is dangerous. At the moment, like, I see Pikawa winning this map. But Tox has just got himself onto a major item. 1 rail, a second in a row would have been another frag for Pikawa, and that would have put him into the lead. Wow, sorry, I got distracted. I've got a tie on. Beyonce's noticed. We've seen Pikawa get into the lead, guys. He's managed to make it happen. Tox needs to step up to the plate right now. He's done some good damage to Pikawa. The Mega will go to him, and he's got very little armor to work with. There's a window of opportunity here where Tox can make his way back in. Oh, the rockets from Tox! He is going to pick up a kill. He's only 1 frag behind, and there is going to be the heavy going for him, but he's going for the frag off the spawn. So aggressive. Shotgun he's got to watch out for, but he does land it 5-5. He didn't want to go with the rockets because that could have maybe been a bit too much splash damage and hurt himself. He hasn't gone for rockets. He's going for position, and he's charging up to the top. And he realizes that rail coming out so quickly. That could have been piercing sight. It was. Well, he is railable. Going with the machine gun. He needs to get out of there. The botched movement almost helped him. But this is really, really sketchy. Pikawa's right at the top. He misses the rail shot, and it's a big rocket from Tox. He finds the ammo crate, and then he finds the heavy. I really like that push that Tox did over towards the algae when the heavy was up in order to tie up the frags. I thought that was just... It was a slightly dangerous play, but he knew if he beat him to the LG, then it would likely be his frag. And he got the damage in before it, so... Top work from Tox. But now it's hard to tell. Like, Pikawa, sure, has a stack advantage, but there's a lot of good weaponry from Tox. And he's got a good position, too. It's really difficult for Pikawa to challenge on this heavy. Tox to safely back away and get himself onto this. Putting pressure on the Mega. Hitting the rail after the Mega's been picked up. That's the big shot to land. He's not going to be able to do it. So there's no harm, no foul, really. He's going to back off and take a different approach. He doesn't want to push past that choke point on the way. And he's just heard that Pikawa's made it over here. Going into that LG, he knows he can out-LG a player. Pretty much anyone in the world. He decides to back away. Slightly botched movement. There's a light armor that... Oh, there's not too much stress in getting it. Oh, that's a really big rail. That's a huge rail too. And Pikawa doesn't overstep the corner. There could be a light... Oh, he's going to find him down here. We are in sudden death at the moment. But it's Tox who's suddenly on 2 points of health. He's looking for the tightest of angles. He's going to be able to put himself up to just over 100 collective health and armor. But that is going to be heavy going to Pikawa. And we are in sudden death. I'm pretty sure the next frag wins. And he just saw the beams that mean that the piercing sight would be used. I thought this might be an alright game. I didn't think it would be this close. It's hard to tell who's going to take this. Tox now getting to the cap armor. That's good, obviously, for him. It was definitely a bit stressful before. And he does have the better position. Oh, he actually gets the follow-up rail. That's massive. But the thing is, he's going to possibly lose out on the mega health. Pikawa's starting to make his way towards there. He's used the piercing sight. Tox is playing away from it. I think he'd rather do damage on it, but he's missing those rails. The fact that he's giving up the item and not managing to find the damage necessarily, that's dangerous. Tox needs rail shots. Or he needs pressure to get over to that heavy. Again, the click. I was asking how many times is it going to happen? We've got to jump up from Pikawa. Tox has got to be careful. He is on his own right now. Oh, but a big rocket. Almost finds some more damage, and Pikawa suddenly has got to respect too. Oh, the drop down from Pikawa just as Tox goes up. Oh my god, he's actually gone up. LG going versus Rockets. Pikawa's so weak. Oh, the splash at the top of the bounce pad secures the kill, and Tox is going to go through to the winner bracket quarterfinals. I did not think that Tox was going to get that for a second because he was running so low on ammunition. That was really difficult. I mean, some intelligent play going from Tox, but you got to question how much he's leaving up some of the items occasionally. We know that it's good to do damage on items, and it's fine to give up items as long as you're doing damage. And he was normally doing that, but sometimes he was missing some shots uncharacteristically, which would make it feel that it was a weak play. When in reality, I think the decision-making was pretty sound overall. But well done to Tox. Pikawa, amazing fight picked by Pikawa. I mean, what a game from him, right? It looked like he was a bit down early on, but making a comeback, things being kept head-to-head, and then takes a lead and forcing Tox to make big plays in order to come back himself. That was pretty unreal. Did Chera beat Sirius? Or did Sirius